Greetings, people on the internet. Here we are to talk about Aseprite. It's a software to design sprites. So let's start opening a new document here. So you can choose the width and height of your document, the color type you want to use, color mode. If you want a transparent white or black background, the aspect ratio, and if you hit OK, you'll go to the main area where you have also this window with the preview. On your right, you'll have the toolbar. On your left, you have the picker with the colors. And that's pretty much it. You have on the bottom the timeline. And so let's go and start exploring the tools. So you have the selection tools here. You have different kind of selection tools. There's the pencil tool that we'll use to create the sprites. This is the eraser tool. The color picker. So I'll show you how it works. So if you design something here and you want to pick up a different color, you just go to the color picker and pick it up and keep drawing. But if you press Alt, you can get the colors on the scene like that. And so you don't have to go to the color picker all the time. So let's just get rid of this with the eraser. You can play with the brush size here. So I'm using a bigger brush to get rid of this quickly. And the same for the pencil. So we'll be working with a pencil of 1 pixel, but you can choose the size of the brush you want, and like that you can cover a bigger area. So let's get back to 1 pixel. Let's get rid of this. And here you have the zoom tool, so we'll use it to zoom in or zoom out. So with the right button of the mouse you can zoom out. This is the move tool, gradient tool, and we'll not be using these tools, so it's pointless to explore them at this point. Here on the, like I said, you pick up the colors you want, but you can just choose a different tone in here, and so let's start drawing something to see how the timeline works. So I'm trying to draw a circle here. Like that. Okay, it's more of a ball, let's say. Looks like a ball if you check on the preview. And now this is on frame 1. So if I want to add more frames, I can just come here to the bottom where it says new frame and add new frames. And if I do that, I'm just adding frames just like the first one I had. So they all look the same, which is an option. I can work like that. Let's say I want to do a bouncing ball, so I can just on frame 2 pick up the ball and break it down a little bit. On frame 3 I'll do the same, so I have to make a new selection. By the way, if you want to deselect, you have to go to select, deselect, or use the shortcut, of course. So on frame 3, I'm going to bring the ball further down than on frame 2. And again, deselect or use, like I said, Control D. And this is the onion skin option, so you can turn it on like that. And what happens is you can see what's going on the frames behind 3. And on frame 4, I'm gonna select the ball and put it down to the bottom. So now you can see what happens with the onion skin on. So these shadows means that if you're on 1, you're seeing what will happen on frame 2, and so on. So if you hit play, you can see the animation. Simple bouncing ball. And if you want to delete a frame, you just hit the frame with the right button of the mouse and go and delete frame. You can also do it by pressing Alt-C. And now I'm going to show you a different way of adding frames. So you can just hold Control and drag it, and it will make a copy of the last frame, of the frame you actually are copying. And like that, if you want to do the same kind of animation like a bouncing ball, now just look that if I do the same to duplicate, if I do the same to which I did to the okay, so something's going on. I'm gonna deselect this, and okay, so what I did was going to the frame 2, holding Control and dragging it, and so I made frame 3. Now notice that when I do this for again, so I forgot to deselect it again, I'm sorry. So now if I do the same for frame 4, notice that the ball is in the position of frame 3. So it's pretty much easier if you want to animate like this, like I'm doing, to duplicate frames like this, because you're getting the sprite is on the position of the last frame, which is more logical in terms of the animation I'm doing. Now, if you want to save your work, you just go to File, Save. You give it a name, like ball anim, very creative, and it's just saved. And if you want to do a save as, which I always recommend, so you just give it a different name and it will keep it on a different file. And now if you want to export the sprite sheet, you go to sprite sheet, and you actually have different options here. I'm gonna leave it just like that, and I'm do the export. And so what it does is it exports all the frames of the animation in one sheet, which is very handy. Now if you want to export the animation itself, so you just have the export, you have to export the file, though you have different options as well. Just make sure you're exporting it as a GIF, because we want to export the animation as a GIF file. So give it a name, and I'm gonna call it GIF ball anim. Hit OK and just hit export, and don't forget to click on animation loop, and that's it. You'll have the animation of the ball.